In partnership with parents in the community, Birmingham Public Schools will provide educational excellence that empowers students to cultivate their individual brilliance and positively impact the world.
Good evening. Today is Tuesday, May 21st, and this is our regular Board of Education meeting for Birmingham School District. Our first order of business is roll call. Tracy?
Trustee Ajaluni? Trustee Holcomer?
Here.
Trustee Joseph?
Here.
Trustee McKinney? Here. Trustee Rass?
Here.
Trustee Spencer?
Here.
Trustee Zisk?
Here.
Thank you. Now I would like to ask Dr. Roberson to go to the podium for recognitions.
Good evening. I am excited to bring up Principal Wicker from Seaholm High School. We have a special recognition for our DECA students, first from Seaholm and then from Groves.
So Seaholm has had a DECA program for many years, but unfortunately in the past it had been something that in order to be a state-funded CFE program, we had to do it. But it was 5 years ago when we hired Haley Radin, who was Haley Willick at the time, that we had to switch from a teacher that was doing it because they had to doing it something that she loved doing. And then 3 years ago, we also hired another teacher, Robert Yusko, and the two of them have revolutionized the DECA program at Seaholm. It went from just a couple students that went to a tournament or two now to the largest group we've ever had, almost 100 students with kids traveling not only to the state, but also the national competitions in California. So I would love to have them know how much I appreciate all the hard work they do and all the time they put up, especially as they both are developing their young families. And I'm really excited that they're here to recognize some of their children.
Hi, so I'm Haley Radin, and this is Robert Yusko, and we are again recognizing we had 11 students that had the opportunity to attend the international conference this year, 9 in which qualified for their event, which is a really rare and amazing opportunity for them, and 2 students that were awarded the opportunity to go for a leadership position, which again is great for our chapter development. So we're recognizing those 11 students today, some who are with us right now. So those Seaholm students that are here, if you wouldn't mind coming up. So we have Katie, Karis, Millen, Spencer, and Grant. And just an extra shout out to Spencer. When we were at the International Career Development Conference, Spencer was one of our 2 students, Spencer and Sean, who actually got top 10 in their test event, which means that out of 200 students in their heat, they were one of the top 10 scores. And I don't say that lightly. That is an accomplishment that we never see in Birmingham. We never see in Michigan very often. So that was a really, really amazing experience to have a student on stage at the conference as well. All of these students, the ones here and not, were amazing, amazing leaders in our program this year. Those seniors that are leaving, we're gonna miss you deeply and dearly. And one of the rewards of making it to the International Career Development Conference is we do award senior cords. So today you'll be granted your senior cords for graduation. So congratulations. Those of you that aren't, graduating yet, you will get them when you're a senior. So.
Where was the international conference?
It was in Anaheim, California.
Awesome.
Yeah, and there were 25,000 students there from all over the world. So big things in Birmingham.
Very experienced. I have to say that a dad, Paige Williams, the dad from last year, called me from the conference, and he was so excited about it. He's like, I can't believe our students get to experience this. he stayed on the phone with me for about 45 minutes, just explaining all that was happening. So can you share with us firsthand?
Oh, absolutely. Go ahead. That's what DECA gets.
Okay, hi, everybody. I'm Karis. I love DECA. I would say we all call it NerdCon, basically. You're basically at an event with 25,000 nerds, but it is one of the best experiences I've ever had. I would say it teaches the skills that you just don't learn in school. I mean, interview skills, ways to connect with people that are nothing like you, ways to talk to adults, people that are way older than you, and really, get professional experience that we just don't get in our classrooms. I think it's prepared me for college, for job interviews, and it has brought me some really good friends that I just wouldn't have met without DECA. So yeah.
So my name is Milan Patel, and for DECA, for me at least, is like expanding my network completely. At every conference, I've not only.
You need to tell them about your state.
Oh, okay. So every conference, I meet new people, and this year I was elected on the Michigan DECA State Board, so I've gotten an extra responsibility from that. And yeah, that's about it.
One big thing for me is going into high school, and still now I will be a freshman in college next year, still deciding what career I want to pursue. So the DECA has definitely given me real life examples for low risk, but you really get real life role plays is what we call them. So it's like sales pitches and different things that give you real life examples, but low risk, and it's a great experience overall.
Yeah, I think, as Katie said, DECA has given us a lot of experience in speaking and presentation skills that are hard to gain elsewhere, and even in things like competitions where it doesn't necessarily it's not the highest stakes in the world, it still gets your blood pumping and it's super fun. And I think it's prepared us a lot for even experiences like this where we can talk to all of you guys and express our thoughts clearly. So that's what DECA has given me.
My name's Grant, and I'd say I agree with what other people have said, but also I think with DECA, so you start off at smaller conferences, and then you can qualify eventually to get to internationals. And I'd say the tough thing is that a lot of people don't get to make it all the way to either states or internationals, but once you're there, you kind of see what it's all about, and it's kind of like the experiences you have, especially for me at internationals this year, it was just, it felt very different, and it was cool seeing how much, I guess, all the people from different states and even some different countries, how much they put into this conference and how much they knew about business and the professional part of it, and I felt like I learned from that while I was there.
I also forgot to mention one really awesome highlight we had, not at the international conference, but at the state conference. Millen slightly touched on it, but I wanted to grab back to that for a second. Millen applied and ran to be one of the eight, right? Yeah. State officers for Michigan DECA this year, and he won to be on that board. So he is now going to be in charge as a student leader of Michigan DECA next year. So he started his experience at ICDC, giving us one more kind of realm of the experience that I've never experienced, that our chapter's never experienced. So it was really cool to watch him grow into that leadership position, bring that to Birmingham for the first time, and then kind of give us a platform to see what it's all about as a student leader in the world of DECA. So we're very proud of that accomplishment as well. And one thing I did not want to leave on the table, even though this was about the international conference.
Wonderful, thank you.
I have a question. Would you mind sharing all the names of all the students, whether they're here or not, just so they can be recognized?
Yes. So we have Karis Henrich. Katie Slazinski, Milan Patel, Spencer Shear, Grant Sabancic. Gosh, he had me practice too. I'm sorry, Grant. Mohan Badwar, Sean Joyce, Daniel Yoon, Jasmine Densky, Gia Matthews, and
We have Alex.
Alex Motia. Yes, that's all of them.
And parents, you can come and take pictures.
Congratulations and thank you for representing Birmingham.
And now I will ask Dr. Smith from Groves to come up, and we also have a group from Groves to recognize for DECA.
I cannot wait to introduce my DECA teachers, but I just saw him walk in, and I'm going to shamelessly congratulate Mr. Wickersham. He coached our inaugural women's flag football team, who went undefeated this year. We got to play at Ford Field Sunday afternoon to clench our undefeated season. It was very exciting. And now you get to meet two of my most favorite teachers at Groves. We stole Jenna Haener from Berkeley High School because of her love of DECA. She was a wonderful interview, but what really shone through in everything that she spoke about was her passion around DECA and running a DECA chapter. And ours at Groves was non-existent until she arrived. And she looped in Mr. Derek Puishes, who not only works with DECA, but is a coach in our building and a class advisor. He's the guy who never says no when he's asked to help with something. So I want to introduce both of them, and you can hear about our students and how well they did this year. So come on up, Jenna and Derek.
Hi, my name's Jenna and this is Derek. We had 3 students qualify for the international conference this year. One of them is here today, so Chloe, if you could come on up. So to put a little bit of hindsight on how big of an accomplishment this is, States has over 5,000 students attend the conference, and you have to be first placed in order to qualify for internationals. And less than 10% actually qualify. And Chloe qualified as a freshman her first year, which is a huge accomplishment for us. She worked very hard, and all her hard work did pay off. We also had Olivia Parkin and Drew Dorfman also attend for Leadership Academy, which is an honor to be asked to attend for that academy as well. Like Haley said, there's over 25,000 high school students at this conference from all over the world. So to be here is a huge accomplishment, and we're very proud of them.
So I'm Chloe. When I heard about DECA, all I heard was that it was a business club. And I didn't know much else about it. But I'm really glad I took that risk and joined, because it was really one of the best experiences I've taken part of in my first year at Groves. And I think for me, the biggest, most important part of it is teaching me problem-solving skills and connecting school to real life and jobs in the future and just college in general. Because I'm still a freshman, but I'm still thinking about college. And I've been thinking about business for a while. That's why I joined DECA, but DECA really has increased the view of business and everything that's inside and all the different separate categories that you can do in business, and it's really furthered my knowledge of business in general and what I might want to do in the future. So I think DECA was really a great choice for me, and everyone that asked me about DECA, I'm like, join, please, because it is really a great club, and it's helped me a lot, so yeah.
Thank you.
Does anybody up there know what DECA actually stands for? What does it stand for?
It stands for Distributive Educational Clubs of America. The acronym kind of stands alone now. They don't really use that anymore since we're so large and everyone just knows it as DECA.
Thank you. Just didn't know. Okay. Congrats, Chloe.
Our next recognition is actually to a PTA. We know that our parent-teacher associations work really hard to make sure that schools have different programs for students. And I'm going to call up Wendy McDowall and also Dayna Ratliff to the podium because they have been working hard to help BCS get a new playground. And so I'm going to turn it over to the PTA president and let her talk a little bit.
Hi, I'm Wendy McDowall, and this is Dayna Ratliff. Thanks for having us here today. Just want to give you a little bit of background. Last year, when we took this role on, we kind of saw our outdated 30-year-old playground and thought that's something that we'd like to replace. Knowing that the financial situation in the district wasn't an option, we decided we were going to go through as a PTA and raise the funds to do so. We raised $45,500 in money, which we'd like to give to Wicker right now.
In about 8 months, too.
In about 8 months,
Yeah,
in combination with a few very generous donors, as well as really hard work from our students and families, doing lots of different little fundraisers through there. And we are very grateful to the district for kicking in the rest of the money, that we've been able to siphon some of the bond money for our current projects right now, so that we are able to complete this project, and hopefully it'll be installed by the end of the summer before school starts in the fall. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take a picture, give me the check.
Sure. Sorry, it's not working.
We didn't make a big one. That's okay. Thank you.
And that concludes the recognitions for this evening.
Thank you. Right now, we have a 5-minute recess. If anyone from the recognitions would like to leave at this time, they are more than welcome to do so. And while you're doing that, I forgot to have Trustee Hokemer read our vision and board goals. No, I'm sorry, vision and board norms. Thank you.
Is it vision or mission? Yes, somebody. Okay. All students in Birmingham will realize their full potential, think critically, and champion an innovative tomorrow. And our board norms are be respectful and reflective, be prepared, no surprises, ask questions, and seek to understand opinions, assume positive intent, and understand and respect the role of a trustee.
Thank you, Amy. Trustees, are there any additions or deletions to tonight's agenda? Seeing none, I will turn it back over to Dr. Roberson for her superintendent report.
So for my superintendent report, one, I want to share that today I had the opportunity to participate in an advocacy day in Lansing with about 80 superintendents around the state. We had an opportunity to meet with the governor as well as individually. Each of us had an opportunity to meet with a number of state reps and also State Senator Moss. I had the opportunity, in addition to Governor Whitmer, Senator Moss, Representative Steele, Representative Price, Representative Steckloff, and Representative Weiss today. Representative Arbit had just come in off a flight, so he did call in. But the purpose of that advocacy day is because there's something really important that is happening, and I just want to make sure that everybody is aware. As you know, for school districts, it is our job to have our budget done by June 30th. However, we generally are waiting at this time for the state to actually give us the allocation of what we will receive. And so while we're waiting on that, there is a pot of money that is a part of the MPS's retirement. So several years ago, at one time, the state of Michigan's retirement system was a bit unstable. They asked educators at that time to chip in an additional 3%, as well as school districts are chipping in on that retirement system up to almost 21%. And the whole idea behind that was that when the pension system became stable, that we would no longer have to put that money in. Well, not only is that the pension stable now, it's actually overfunded. And so we are asking for, one, the 3% to go back to employees, but also that 7% of that money go back to districts so that we're not paying that for the retirement. It is such a big ask that never in the history have all state organizations come together to ask for this money. So there is a joint letter from the two biggest teachers union, MEA and the AFT. On that letter also is the Michigan Association of School Administrators, that's the Superintendent's Association, as well as the Principals Association, the Michigan Association of School Board, and every educational state organization that you can think of have signed a joint letter. They never agree on anything. There's never been a time where all of them agree on the exact same ask. And so this is something that I think it's important for all of us who are in education, all of us who have children who attend any type of public school, anybody who has a house in an area that has a public school. This is important because right now our foundation allowance has not kept up with inflationary increases. And so anytime it doesn't keep up with inflationary increases, it's an automatic cut. It's an automatic deficit every year to what your budget. You're automatically getting less because you're not keeping up with inflation. And so for those who are listening, if you have, feel free to call your lawmakers and let them know that it's time to fund public education. It's important, and the reality is that the public education system is one of the most important institutions in society, and everybody who is working has been touched by a teacher, and so it's time for us to do better. The second thing that I wanted to just say is congratulations to our seniors. I know they're not done yet, although some of them are done in their minds. They are not technically done until next week, but this will be the last board meeting that we have before they graduate. And so I just want to say congratulations to all of our Groves and Seaholm and Lincoln Street seniors.
I think, isn't Grove's last day this Thursday? Or is it for seniors?
I think it's next week. The next thing that I want to do is actually an introduction, so I'm going to go to the podium.
Okay.
And hope that my seasonal allergies don't kick in. I would like to stand at the podium because I wanted to introduce our new deputy superintendent who will be starting July 1st. If I can have Corey Heisch come up, please. I put on my heels so that I can. cannot seem so short. Mr. Heitch has been serving as Assistant Superintendent of Early Childhood and Elementary Education in Rochester Community Schools since 2019. He previously worked as a principal in the South Lyon Community Schools for 7 years and as a teacher in the Walled Lake Community Schools for several years, and has also been a high school varsity basketball coach for 4 years at Novi High School. He holds a Bachelor of Arts of Elementary Education from Alma College, a Master's of Science in Educational Leadership from Concordia University, and is currently pursuing his doctorate in Educational Leadership from Oakland University. I am excited to have Corey Heitch with us. He will start officially July 1st. He's going to be doing some overlap with Dr. Lindenberg, but I'm going to give him an opportunity to say a few words. If you will welcome him, please.
Thank you. First of all, thank you, Dr. Roberson, the Board of Education, leadership team, and community in Birmingham. I am beyond grateful for this opportunity. So thrilled to get started. I can't believe that I'll be joining such a wonderful school community, and I feel very fortunate for that. I'd also like to thank my lovely and supportive wife, Rebecca, and our 3 daughters. If you guys go ahead and stand up, it's okay. Maybe not Vivian, but Evelyn, Eleanor, and Vivian are back there as well. And then I would be remiss as well to not take a moment to congratulate Dr. Lindenberg on her retirement and what's ahead. He's been unbelievably responsive and supportive so far. He's shared all these transition notes he makes, and there's only one thing that gives me pause. I noticed that he participates in a lot of the 5Ks he put there, and I'm still sweating from walking in from the parking lot here. So I either got to figure something out or find another way to support those 5Ks. But congratulations. It's been described to me that you're a true advocate for public education, so thank you for everything you've done. All right, thank you, and I'm fortunate to be here. I appreciate it.
Welcome.
You will see his hiring on the consent agenda today. I also want to take this time because this is Dr. Mark Lindenberg's last board meeting. And I just want to say, I don't know that I will be able to truly articulate how I will miss you, Mark. You have been an excellent addition to Birmingham Public Schools in a lot of ways. One, in being such a fierce advocate for public education, but also just always being right there when we need you. You have great funny stories. We're going to miss your Southern drawl. And we do wish you the best. I admire you for going after your dreams. Some of you may not know, but Dr. Lindenberg was a former superintendent for 14 years, retired from Virginia and came up here. But one of the things that he has always said is that he wants to end his career going back to be a high school football coach. And, that's something that I actually didn't think you were serious about. but apparently you are. And I've seen the excitement that you have shown in going back home, being able to be closer to family, but then also living out your dreams, doing that and teaching AP English. So we do wish you the absolute best and know that we're going to miss you. You still have another week of work left, so don't think that this is completely goodbye. But we will definitely miss you, Mark.
Corey a note today and said this is 16 years of school board meetings, and it'll be nice to step away from that. I love the board and I love American Public Schools. It's the most important institution in the entire world, in my opinion. I've served in every kind of school district that you can serve in: inner city, high poverty inner city, rural poverty, small districts, big districts, every kind of district you can come in. And the first time I ever served in an affluent, wealthy district was here. And when I first came here, I'd walk down the halls and I would get jealous sometimes. Like, gosh, this is incredible what all we have here. And over time, you see that how great Birmingham public schools are. I mean, I've never been anywhere with this so resourced board. Thank you for that. And the community ought to thank the board for that, because there's been a long-standing commitment to facilities. The level of teaching here is unlike anywhere I've ever seen, and you know, just so many good people who do it the right way. Our principals are absolutely. I mean, if you think and reflect just for a second, by and large, since I've been here for 2.5 years, there's been hardly a blip in the road with our buildings. I mean, there's always some controversies, but by and large, it's been steady at the wheel, and I'm just proud of our principals. And then I think that Dr. Roberson is I mean, I just admire her so much, and I'll miss working with her. I think she's as good a superintendent as there is anywhere in the country, and she is just, I mean, not only is she innovative, I think the challenge sometimes is as a superintendent is to be both innovative and stable, and she's done that, been steady at the wheel and stable at the same time, and always has her heart in the right place. So I have absolutely loved being here. I do look forward to teaching great literature and coaching high school football, though. Thank you.
And that does end my superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Oberson, Dr. Lindenberg. At this time, I'd like to turn it over for board comments and requests.
Since we're recognizing staff, I just also want to say congratulations to Laura Mahler, who I believe was in our personnel report.
Yeah, but she has another month left. She doesn't leave to June. She doesn't leave to June 30th. Do not. So we're going to catch her at the next board. Not that you can't recognize her, but I don't want them people to think that she's leaving just yet.
I just wanted to update about the GRC meeting that was held on May 1st. So there was 2 things that came up. I took notes. First was regarding the elections. If you're interested to run for the school board and your heart desires to be one of us here, the deadline is July 23rd, and you need to do it with Oakland County. And make sure you get the latest and greatest form from their website, and don't use an older form, because that would not be valid. It needs to be the latest possible form. And if you have any questions, contact the Clark County, Lisa Brown's office. She or one of her staff would be more than happy to help you. And I also have a flyer with the QR code if anybody's interested. The other portion of the meeting was just regarding the updates from the federal and the budget update. The USDA released the final rule for the updates for the school nutrition standards, and the school will have no change in any manner regarding that for the 2024 through 2026. The only changes, the sodium limits are much less stringent than the original proposal on the budget. And some of the budget updates is that the version of the school aid budget is still currently on the Senate floor. So this increases the foundation allowance by 3.1%. And the House aid budget is expected to report from the appropriation to floor regarding the per student foundation allowance. And I think those, the other one is, the other important one was the Senate passed to make kindergarten compulsory. I hope I pronounced that correctly. starting the 2025-26 school year. The bill would require all school districts and public schools to offer kindergarten and children age 5 and up to attend school. So those are my updates. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Joseph.
I just wanted to say that Dr. Robertson and I did get to visit Derby last Friday. And we got to tour 3 different classrooms, listen to kids giving presentations. It was a great tour.
I got to tour Groves with Dr. Robertson last week. That was also a good tour. Visited a bunch of classrooms, saw how the renovations are coming along. I really enjoyed it. Had a district curriculum council meeting at the end of April. We are, of course, being asked to approve 3 new courses tonight, and the bond committee met 2 weeks ago, and there are several bond items that'll be on the agenda tonight. Thank you.
Sure, thank you. I had the ability to attend the Friends meeting where we talked a lot about the Disability Awareness Workshop, and with our new special education director, Audra, I'm totally blanking on her. Hodra, thank you. And Ms. Mahler were had a great line of communication to move that forward moving into next year. There is a PAC meeting tomorrow, so I don't have anything to report on that just yet.
Thank you. I have, go ahead.
I'll just add that I had an opportunity to attend the Birmingham African American Family Network meeting, which I believe was towards the end of last week. One of the highlights of the meeting was we had a presentation by an organization, which escapes me right now. Ecotech, thank you. And it was really nice to hear from 2 students. And if Dr. Smith is still here, the parents learned about the program through an email that Dr. Smith sent out. And so the students were really excited about being able to do lab work that they're not able to do in school. And it really piqued their interest to possibly pursue it as a career. And so it might be something that the school may have an interest in partnering with in the future.
Thank you, Trustee McKinney. I just have a few things. I visited Beverly last week, and it was a wonderful visit. I want to give a shout out to Mrs. Knober's 5th grade and Trustee Spencer's son, who gave Dr. Robertson and I both plants that they grew in their little greenhouse on the 2nd floor of Beverly, so it was a great visit. Birmingham Youth Assistance had Touch a Truck over the weekend at Bingham Farms, where a lot of community members came. I think Dr. Robertson was parking cars in the morning. So thank you for that. And then late in April, the Birmingham Youth Assistance, in partnership with Birmingham Optimists, recognized 39 local students for Youth in Service Awards. So that was great. The BEF met last week, Birmingham Education Foundation, and BASH for 2025 will be February 1st at the Daxton again. So it's not on Super Bowl weekend, and we were staying at the Daxton. I also want to congratulate our 2 former trustees, Adrienne Young, on her recent investiture as judge of the Michigan Court of Appeals. We were all invited to her ceremony last week. So several CLT members and I were able to attend, so congratulations, Honorable Young. And then former President Kim Whitman was recognized at the PTA Council meeting 2 weeks ago for her outstanding service to the district. So just shout out to them. And then Dr. Lindenberg, thank you. Thank you for everything that you've done. I think I could speak on behalf of our entire board. We appreciate all that you've done, and I will miss and appreciate your constant reminders of the great things we're doing and to continue to focus on all the positive that we're doing in Birmingham. So thank you for that. And I'm very, very excited that you're going to go and pursue your dreams. Thank you. And we look forward to having you on our team. Anyone has anything else?
No? I would just add to Dr. Lindenberg is that, although he was just with us for a short time, they always say you should leave a place better than you found it. And I really believe that you made us better in the time that you were with us. So thank you.
All right. Next, we will move into public comment, and we have 9, I believe, for tonight. So before we begin, I want to read our public comment card. Because the Birmingham Board of Education values public meetings, not just meetings in public, we welcome public comment on school issues. Most comments can be concisely stated in 3 minutes, and the board respectfully asks that comments remain focused on the topic or issue and not on specific personnel. We welcome your comments but cannot discuss nor debate items not on the agenda. When asked to discuss non-agenda items, we can share facts but not engage in discussion. We need to follow laws regarding public notice on issues and be aware that other community members may have interest in the topic but without proper notice may not be present to contribute. With that, I would like to invite Jennifer Wynn and Patrice Ligon to the podium.
Hello, we are from Corton Elementary School. My name is Jen Wind. I teach first grade.
Patrice Ligon, fifth
And
grade.
we just wanted to take 3 minutes quickly to highlight some of the wonderful things that have been happening at Corton Elementary School.
We thought it was 5 minutes, but it's 3.
We'll speak fast. We will speak fast. This was our first year at Corton having a junior kindergarten program, and to say that it has been such a wonderful addition is an understatement. These little kiddos have come in and they've learned to make new friends this year, develop a confidence and a readiness for next year as kindergartners at Corton. They've been doing science lessons all year long, studying the weather and the 4 seasons. They're developing positive problem-solving skills, growth mindset, early math concepts, and also those phonics and phonological awareness skills that we're hoping they'll come in our doors with next year. Speaking of kindergarten, our kindergarten crew is super excited right now. They're on their ABC countdown till the end of the year. So each day is something different. Like B is bubble brain break, so they get to go outside and do bubbles for their brain break. C was their create a fun craft day. You guys get the point. D was a dance party day. So they have been so excited to celebrate the end of the year. First grade, we brought back our historical field trip to the Troy Historical Museum. Ties in with our standard in social studies for history. The kids got to go to a one-room schoolhouse set in the 1800s and participate in what a school day would look like. Our PTA helped fund that. They had such a good time carrying in wood, you know, to stoke the fire to heat the building and standing up and asking permission to speak. This year, our second graders participated in our first ever Library Olympics. They were broken up into teams and participated in 4 different events. They were Destiny Match, Dewey Dash, Library Relay, and also Code Mazes. I'm gonna let you go next.
Third grade. Third grade was building model Twinkie cars to better understand the benefits of using the assembly line and mass production. Corton third graders worked together to build Twinkie cars. 4 students chose to build their cars from beginning to end, and then another group did the assembly line, and guess who won? The assembly line. And then obviously at the end, they ate Twinkies. 4th grade, they built solar cars doing our energy unit, and thanks to our PTA who pays for them. They also built haunted houses during our electricity unit. 5th grade, we invite parents into our classroom to do a career share. And parents have done a fantastic job sharing about their careers and connecting it, I'm sorry, please conclude, and connecting it to the classroom, and this connects with the Zello district career readiness. And then LRC supported, the supported LRC, our LINKS program has been up and running with students in our supported LRC program and their general education peers. And this has just been a wonderful time where the kids get together and help our, and support the LRC kids. All the students and staff look forward to this fun and engaging time to end their busy weeks.
I know that was fast, but that was Corton in a snapshot. We just wanted you to hear about some of the wonderful things. So we thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to invite Lisa Duggan.
Hello,
my name is Lisa Duggan, and I'm a reading specialist at West Maple. And I just wanted to share some of my wonderful experiences on the literacy curriculum design team and the process that we went through for our recommendation of magnetic reading and wit and wisdom. I have never been through a process that has been so thoughtful and so thorough, and it really has started over the last few years, not just the last 4 days of us actually evaluating our options. Our district has been building teacher capacity by providing letters training and Orton-Gillingham training. We have been meeting regularly as an MTSS team to discuss data, Tier 1 classroom instruction, Common Core state standards. We have had a literacy leadership committee on this design team that has done extensive research on current best practices. So all of these things have led to this amazing team of teachers, specialists, and principals coming together to really determine the best resources for our students and our teachers. And no matter where we were on our literacy journey during those 4 days, we were provided with PD so that we could all have this shared vision for what our students need to succeed in our literacy programs. So it was very exciting to walk into this room with boxes and materials and books, and you get all giddy and excited, especially me, because I wanted to get into the materials and see what's out there. But then it also hits you because this is a very heavy and very important decision, and none of us took it lightly at all. So throughout the decision process, we were deliberately able to collaborate with different teachers, from different schools, from different grade levels, and we were really able to dig into the specific criteria, and we were always brought back to using the evidence. What would make this great? Because we couldn't just use our feelings, and trust me, us teachers have lots of feelings about things, especially when it comes to reading and writing. So we were really able to make a very deliberate choice. And this process is also very meaningful to us because as teachers, we were heard, and our voices really translate to our students' voices. So I'm very excited for them to have access to a very solid foundational skills program and strong, rigorous text so that they can share their incredible thoughts and through verbally, through discussions, and especially in writing. So thank you for allowing us to have this say in this awesome, tremendous, important decision, and I truly enjoyed it, and I look forward to supporting our teachers and our students throughout this journey.
Thank you. Next, I invite Elizabeth Cook to the podium.
Hi there, I'm Elizabeth Cook, and I've taught at BCS for 26 years, I think, and I'm also a parent in the district of 3 kids, well, only one now, but we cover lots of schools, so I have been a part of all the schools for many, many years. I did want to ask, am I not allowed to be positive about a particular staff member, or it says in the rules that you can't talk about a staff, you can't point somebody out specifically? I have something else to say if I can't, but.
If it's positive, that's fine.
Oh, okay, great. Okay. So first, I concur with everything Lisa said. That's really why I'm actually here, was just to show support for that process and our language arts curriculum. I couldn't be more happy and proud of that, but that's not really why I decided to speak. And it's also, as I'm sitting here thinking, coming from the baseball game here at Groves, how proud and excited I am as a parent and just a community member to sit in that stadium and watch these games. And I happened to overhear a senior parent say, I'm just so lucky that we got to play in this for 2 years. And I wanted to thank you for that. I just, everything just looks so great everywhere, except for BCS, but BCS is going to look great soon. But what I did want to acknowledge, and the real reason for me coming up or saying I was going to speak, was to thank you all for hiring Jill Geeden, our principal. Mrs. Geeden has really been an asset to our school for this year. It's like we've had great principals, do not get me wrong. It's just that at a time when education is just so challenging and posed with many challenges, she has been tenacious. She's so knowledgeable. She's a problem solver. You go to her about something and she's got a direction of where you can go if she doesn't have the answer, to get the answer. She's just someone that I can guarantee we want to keep in this district for a very, very long time. Trust me, we want her. So I appreciate you, whoever made those decisions, and thank you for everything.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to invite Art Jack to the podium.
Hi, good evening, and congratulations, Mark. I will miss the times we had to talk. All right. I just came to make a comment on Resolution 78, the acceptance of new courses, and there are 3 courses, Sports Literature, Rhetoric, AP African American Studies, and Computer Applications. After it came to my attention that AP African American Studies was one of the courses, I thought I'd come here and advocate for the program on behalf of all the work I'm sure the staff has done. I was a part of the effort that developed one of the major changes that were made to African American Studies. So looking forward to hearing that. And then I also asked the parents, after reading the resolution, if within BAFN, if they had an opportunity to review the courses or give feedback. And they shared with me that they did not. So I think going forward, that it would be good to have some closed-loop communication ongoing with, starting with BAFN leadership regarding the classes. Personally, I don't have any concerns with it, you know, assuming that I see Mr. Wickersham out here, so I know he put all his heart into it, and whomever else. But going forward, just getting that feedback, getting that engagement, because it's something that the community is passionate about. And believe me, as we were going through those challenges at that time and opportunities, there was a lot of communication about different ways to teach the class, different material, different ideas, and innovative ways to make it engaging and interesting. So I want to make sure that closed-loop process happens ongoing, because as a community, I know the comments will come back, be it good or bad. I have 4 kids in the district. They all went off to historically black colleges, and all of them have taken African American history classes. So, and they're able to make that connection between what they learned here, as well as how it's taught in the education that they received through faculty members. So thank you very much, and have a good day.
Thank you. Next, I invite Savani Lasser.
Hello, my name is Sanvi Lasser. I'm a student at Groves, and I also wanted to speak on the African American History course, the AP African American History course. I think will be an amazing addition to the district. I know that we currently have a regular African American History course, but I think the addition of having an AP version of the course will allow students who are looking for more rigor in their schedule and to have that on their transcripts when they apply to college will be able to have a great benefit in taking this class. In addition, we have always learned about African American history starting in kindergarten, but I think this class in particular will be a great asset to the district because it has content that spans outside of what we have typically learned. We normally focus on a little bit of slavery, a little bit of the civil rights movement, but this starts even before the transatlantic slave trade, looking at the African diaspora, looking at culture, civilization, before the influence of European people. So I think that it will really help expand students' view of African American history, and I think that it is also important because it will allow more students to be seen in the curriculum, which is so incredibly important to be able to go to a class where you know that your experience is being seen, heard, and understood. So I think that adding this class will give all students a deeper and more complete picture of African American history.
Thank you. Next, I invite Kathy Westerlin to the podium.
Trying this like the kids, so we'll see how this goes. Good evening. My name is Kathy Westerland. I'm the proud parent of 2 Groves High School graduates, a 25-year Beverly Hills resident, and a 7th grade ELA teacher at Derby Middle School. I say all this to show you how ingrained I am in this community. They usually tell you somewhere along the line in finance, like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Well, the Westerlands put all their eggs in one basket, and it's worked out pretty good for us. Tonight, I want to take a couple of minutes to share my thoughts on our recent ELA curriculum review cycle. Over my almost 30 years in BPS, I have participated on ELA and social studies curriculum review teams a plethora of times. This review cycle was by far the most professional, in-depth, research-based process that I have been a part of during my tenure at BPS. We as a committee were able to analyze materials from the top curriculum companies in the country. We not only utilized our district curriculum standards and our BPS strategic plan while digging into each of these curriculum, we also used a robust evaluation tool. Finally, we took into account evaluations done by independent evaluators such as Ed Reports. The Wit and Wisdom program that our committee is proposing as a pilot program for the 24-25 school year has been vetted out by over 50 teachers, over 100 students, several building administrators, several CLT members, and community members who are given multiple opportunities to come and review these materials. Within each of the 4 yearly units, students in grades K-8 will be empowered and challenged to dig in to a myriad of materials to build a knowledge base about topics such as medieval times, the American West, civil rights heroes, outer space, breaking barriers, and a hero's journey. Wit and Wisdom brings all pieces and components of an ELA curricula together: reading, writing, listening, speaking. I am confident that with this adoption, we will be preparing our students for their future. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Next, I invite Stacy Gatz to the podium.
Hi, members of the board, CLT, and Birmingham community. My name is Stacy Goss. I'm also here to talk about my experience on the ELA curriculum committee. I'm a 5th grade teacher at Bingham Farms. I've been teaching for 11 years. I have my master's degree in reading and have recently been taking the letters training that the district is helping offer. This professional learning course that spans 8 units focuses on the science of reading. For anybody new to that term, the science of reading is essentially how kids learn best to read and retain literacy instruction, which is backed by years of literary research as well as research on the brain itself. I share all this about myself and the science of reading, not to boast about my singular accomplishments, but to highlight that I am just one of many on our ELA curriculum committee. We spent many hours together using a rigorous tool that my colleagues have spoken to, poring over curriculum options. The committee consisted of highly qualified educators, many with multiple education degrees, many also participating in the science of reading training, and all with years of practical experience teaching ELA. These include but are not limited to classroom teachers, reading specialists, high school teachers, special education teachers, and principals. Before we even started looking at curriculum, our committee learned about the most current research in regards to best practices in literacy and knowledge building. Next, we used a rigorous process to look deeply at a variety of curriculums. We had open, honest, and sometimes really hard conversations. We couldn't be married to any curriculums. We started looking at the basics, seeing if the curriculum was even aligned to the standards. The tool that we used continued to help us look for various aspects of the curriculum, looking for red flags, things that we knew we didn't want in the curriculum, and things that maybe weren't present themselves. And we then continued to look for high-quality indicators and eliminate options as it became necessary. Each of our sessions was also paired with continued learning. We read articles and discussed the importance of rich vocabulary routines, close reading, and knowledge-building content. Our final choice, Wit and Wisdom, is one that I had the opportunity to spend a lot of time investigating. I'm excited at the potential to pilot this curriculum for many reasons. There's rich vocabulary routines, writing that is relevant to students in the real world, and complex texts for students to develop critical thinking skills. In literacy, it's really important for students to have books that can be windows and mirrors. Mirrors for texts that they can see themselves in, which that young lady spoke so eloquently about as well, and then windows for text to help them learn about different perspectives. Wit and Wisdom provides that essential opportunity for students in the many topics that Kathy spoke about, while also developing them into strong readers and writers. The curriculum also aligns to our district's strategic plan under the priorities of student achievement and the culture of unity and well-being. I'm excited at the prospect of being a pilot teacher and look forward to implementing the curriculum with high-quality instruction that we all have here at Birmingham.
Next, I invite Stephanie Holmes-Webster.
Good evening, everyone. Oops, I lost my name is Stephanie Holmes-Webster. I was asked to comment on the adoption of the newest curriculum, the AP curriculum. I'm sorry, I had emailed my information because I'm crazy right now. I'm a track parent. I have a daughter at Groves. I also have a son at Bingham, and I emailed myself what I was gonna say, and now I can't find it. Okay, so anyway, I was asked to comment on the adoption of the AP curriculum because we felt like it was very important for students to have an option to dive a lot deeper down into the breadth of African American history. And as the young lady stated, we are more than our trauma stories, or what some people refer to as Black trauma porn. We did not start with slavery, and we did not end with slavery and bondage and lynchings and miscegenation that has historically been talked about within our United States history. We are the sons and ancestors of kings and queens from Mali and Songhai, places that had technological development before other people probably walked this earth. We developed the clock. We are the reason why you can stop at a stoplight or that you can iron your clothes. And those are things that are not talked about in a regular history class. So the adoption of an AP history class is something that is very detrimental. And being that it's optional, I couldn't see why there would be any kind of pushback from community members saying, why are we adopting AP history? Why would we adopt AP history versus African American AP? If students want to have the opportunity to dive into the depth and the breadth of how we have contributed to modern civilization and this world's civilization right now, students ought to be able to do that. And as a parent, as an educator of 20 years and a former history teacher, I think that that is important. And ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is poverty. And that is Charles Darwin that said that. And I'm very proud that this board and the teachers have come together to propose that.
Thank you. Our last public comment for this evening is Rebecca Gilbert.
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity to share. So I am an English language development teacher at the elementary level, mostly working at West Maple. And I am also here to share how excited I am about the prospect of the Wit and Wisdom core knowledge building instructional materials and magnetic reading foundational skills instructional materials for the students and teachers of BPS. As an English language development teacher, these materials have the potential to be a true game changer for multilingual learners in their general education classrooms. Wit and Wisdom brings the promise of complex grade level texts, but with repeated exposures and opportunities for students to engage in authentic ways with the ideas, vocabulary, and syntax of the texts, so they have a chance to access these challenging texts. Additionally, the materials offer long-term opportunities to engage with the topics at each grade level, which positions multilingual learners and all students well to create the neural connections that help new ideas and vocabulary stick. Magnetic reading offers systematic and explicit instruction for multilingual learners and all students to move through the foundational skills in a way that sets them up for success. Similarly, with repeated exposure to skills through daily activities that are easy for teachers to follow, students will be well positioned to be fluent second grade readers by the end of second grade, who are ready to take on more challenging multisyllabic words, more complex morphemes, and the more complex language structures of upper elementary. I can't tell you enough about how excited teachers are to learn more about and pilot these instructional materials. So many of my colleagues have asked to pilot. Thank you for considering what these instructional materials can offer to the students and teachers of BPS.
Thank you. And that concludes public comment. Now we will move into our consent agenda that has a personnel report, financial statements, minutes from our past regular meetings, our board retreat. Could I have a motion to consider Resolution 76?
I move to consider Resolution 76.
Is there any all those in favor of moving Resolution 76 forward? Please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
6-0. Okay, now I would like to invite April Imperio to the podium for our student learning and inclusion resolutions.
Good evening. I have the great pleasure to present two resolutions to you this evening. My first resolution is to move forward with Wit and Wisdom by Great Minds for grades K-8 and Magnetic Reading by Curriculum Associates for grades K-2 to pilot in select classrooms across all grades K-8 and in each school.
Trustees, are there any questions regarding?
Do we need to make the motion first?
Sorry, I'm not with it tonight. Sorry, I keep.
I move to accept Resolution 77, the literacy pilot.
Second.
All those in favor of Resolution 77, the ELA literacy pilot, please. Discussion. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Is there any discussion, trustees?
I do have a quick comment. April, I just want to say, I know that this was a collective effort, so thank you to the staff who put in tireless hours into this process. But I also want to recognize you, April, for your leadership in this. Hopefully you felt the love from the staff who commented on how professional this process was. So I just wanted to acknowledge you and say thank you.
Thank you. I feel incredibly lucky to be working with such amazing staff, and they put a lot of work into this recommendation, and I could not be more proud.
Yeah, and just for the public, we did have extensive conversation regarding not only the process, but Wit and Wisdom and magnetic reading at our study session on May 7th, where we had a lot more questions for April, so.
It was a late meeting, but it was very worth it.
Yes. Trustees, are there any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving Resolution 77, the ELA literacy curriculum, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
Wonderful. My next resolution is Resolution 78. I should mention that this resolution was also discussed pretty extensively at our study session, and I would be remiss not to thank our educators that worked on behalf of building these courses that we're bringing forth this evening. So this resolution is asking you to approve 3 new courses: Sports Literature and Rhetoric, AP African American Studies, and Computer Applications.
And in addition to these 3 courses, going through an extensive process, they were all sent out to the community for the community to review.
They were all sent out to the community.
Trustees, a motion?
I move that we approve Resolution 78, acceptance of new courses.
Support. I do have something to read. Do you have something to read?
Yeah, go ahead, that's fine.
Please, you.
I just wanted to say thank you to April, first of all, Ms. Imperial. And I've been hearing from many members of the community how pleased they are at the variety of choices that we are offering and adding to our combined high school course catalog through the elective classes, like the current ones on our agenda for approval: AP African American Studies, Sports, Literature and Rhetoric, and Computer Applications. Electives are a wonderful opportunity for students to develop new interests and abilities and highlight their talents. Choice allows students to pursue their passions, explore possible areas for college majors, or any other career path they decide. Choice gives students and their families the ability to venture outside of the core curriculum and make invaluable individual choices for their own public education, which we strive to lean into in our strategic plan, in both student achievement and the culture of unity and well-being. So thank you.
Trustee Zamet? I also had a little something to say. I feel a bit nervous, but Trustee McKinney, I hope you don't mind, but I've used you as a bit of inspiration. I'd like to start off by saying that I think all of the 3 new courses being proposed tonight are really good. Special thanks to Ms. Imperio for the detailed explanations she's given us on course development and for helming the Curriculum Council meetings. I've really enjoyed my experience on the council, and I appreciate how hard our administration has worked, and all the teachers, how hard they've worked to address concerns and in some cases modify the courses based on public input as well as Curriculum Council discussion. Most of my concerns with parts of these 3 courses have been addressed, but one thing is still outstanding, and it's something that runs counter to a value BPS holds dear. So I'll reiterate what I said at our last study session, that the new College Board offering, AP African American Studies, it's a really good course. I can echo the public comment and say it's a very rich and deep experience. But I've asked for one thing, and it's simple and it supports a value that this district has proclaimed many times: the value of offering a balanced perspective on issues. I've asked the department to find additional source material to balance what I believe is a one-sided perspective on 2 topics in the course. The topics are a small portion of the course, but these small details really matter to me. When we're presenting information to the kids, especially topics that are currently being debated and discussed by people at all levels of society, from regular citizens to legislators to judges, I think it's important that if we list a supporting article or video that leans to one side of an issue, whether we chose it or the College Board chose it, we must also present an article or video that leans to the other side of the issue. I think we all want our kids to know there can be strong opposing viewpoints on issues. We want them to learn how to research both sides of an issue, and we want them to be able to think critically. I actually saw this in practice when I toured Groves with Dr. Roberson. Do you remember the class that we popped into and they were doing the, I think, 4 corners exercise? It made me so proud to know that we're not letting our kids stay in their comfort zone. We're pushing them to consider other viewpoints and learn how to support their own. I want to be confident that we're leaning into the value of balanced perspective for every course we offer, so these small details matter a lot to me. I didn't think it was too much to ask for a couple of different source materials to be added to the course. It wasn't meant to change the trajectory of the course or try to add an exhaustive examination of a topic that's supposed to be a small part of a larger historical movement. It was meant to keep us leaning into our values. This issue is so important to me that for this reason and this reason alone, I'll have to vote no on this resolution, even though I think all 3 of these courses will be a great addition to our curriculum.
Trustee McKinney. Thank you, Trustee Zamet.
So unfortunately, I don't have a prepared statement, so I'll just speak from the heart. I'm glad that I could be a source of inspiration for you, but to put my comments in context and what I said in a previous meeting, what I said was that I was offended by an affirmative action article that was published in a newspaper that had some inaccuracies in it, and it was offensive, and it didn't provide a counter perspective.
That wasn't what I was talking about.
Okay, so I thought that's what you were
No,
talking about.
that wasn't.
Okay.
It was when you was when you supported our contract renewal with Dr. Roberson, but you
Okay.
felt very strongly about one aspect of it.
Okay, got it. Okay, so I'm glad to be the source of inspiration. But I would also just say that with the history class, as so eloquently Trustee Spencer stated, that it is choice, and I'm glad that we're offering that. So the students who opt in for that class are doing so to learn history. History can't be recreated. It is what it is. And so I think that that is appropriate the way it currently is.
Go ahead, you were first.
May I?
Yes.
So, and this is, I respect your opinion, Trustee Zammit, so this is not as a counter, you know, trying to convince you any other way. I just want to make a clarification for the community, because I think we see things differently in terms of creating a balanced view. You are correct in terms of our core value is to present two sides of the story. The specific area that you have expressed your concern with has to do with a part of the African American studies that teaches about the Black Feminist Unit. In the Black Feminist Unit, as a part of that, there is a conversation of why there is a Black Feminist movement in history, which it was, and that was because of this term, which is considered intersectionality. That means that, for example, there can be two things that someone sees the world as. I'll use myself as an example. I can see myself as an African-American woman, and there are things that could happen because I am African-American, but there are also things that could be happening because I am a woman. So I live the world that's intersectionality as an African-American and as a woman. The African-American studies does not go into a deep, people can disagree that I don't see the world that way, but the class does not go into a deep study of intersectionality. It clearly states that the reason that there is a Black feminist movement is because people saw themselves in that way. And so I don't know, to put a counter narrative to that would be to do a deeper study into intersectionality, and this is 4 pages out of a 280-page document, and that's not the purpose of that part of the unit. That part of the unit purpose is to say there's Black feminism. The reason there was a Black feminism movement, some women saw themselves as not only being discriminated as African American, but also discriminated because they were women. So I just want to clarify that for the community, because I do believe, and I know you say that you don't think that that is providing a balanced point of view. I do believe that we believe in a balanced point of view when it is appropriate.
Thank you. Trustee Joseph?
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you, April, and your team. So my comment is that, yeah, obviously having the other side of the viewpoint is very critical, but I happen to be very passionate about about all 3 courses, obviously, but specifically the AP African American. Now, even though I'm still, and legally I'm not a minority, but I am a minority. I'm a Middle Eastern person, and I've been in this country for more than 40 years, and I still face discrimination from everywhere that I go. And I'm sorry if I'm emotional, but I definitely, even though it's not the same, but I do know how important this is, not just for the African American community, but for our district to recognize this and to bring it to light, to entice hopefully other African Americans to maybe even move to our community and to increase that population in our community, in our district. And this would be a good way to tell them, hey, not only we offer a regular African American history, but we offer an AP where it could be a college credit. So if there is and I hate to use educational terminology here, but I can give this an extra credit. If I may say so. So I can only vote yes, but I could say yes with extra credit. Is that okay?
That's okay. Thank you, Trustee Joseph.
Thank you.
Trustees, is there anything else? I do have a statement from Trustee Angeloni that I would like to read. She couldn't be here this evening. To the community, as a longtime educator in BPS, I have seen the curriculum department grow and show unbelievable progress in leading our district towards educational excellence. Everything about the newly developed curriculum process, thanks to April Imperio and her team, is clearly advanced, and with many high-level steps of dimensions in place for research, planning, reviewing, evaluation, and input from the whole team before it can move to the next level. The thorough and comprehensive process allows that many members of the team and all stakeholders to have a substantive role in the process, but above all, I am confident this group is making decisions with the best interests of our students at the forefront. We had a presentation at our last study session on 3 more potential elective classes. These classes are electives, meaning students have the opportunity to choose any one of them or not, but the broad selection of electives serves to enhance and prepare our students for higher education and a future global job market. At the study session, the team reviewed the reasoning behind the classes, the content, resources, and benefits of taking any of them. They left no stone unturned. They presented the resources they would use, text, films, articles, indeed a broad selection of enriching materials. All supplemental materials have been carefully chosen to align perfectly with the units of study presented, ensuring the course's coherence. Each class was more impressive than the last. In addition to all the texts and materials for each class are open to the public for preview, which demonstrates integrity and transparency. For these reasons and many more, I proudly support the adoption of all 3, and that's from Trustee Angeloni.
Thank you.
Trustee Hochmer?
I just wanted to make one comment. So one of the things that as a board we talk about is increasing not only the quality of the education that we receive, but the public's opinion of us as a district. And Trustee Joseph has mentioned more than a couple times, you know, how important our rankings are, which I do agree that rankings are something people look at and we want to improve them. And when I found out that Ms. Imperio came from Florida, which has one of the most comprehensive AP offerings of many states, which seems odd at times, but they do really offer it. I just want to point out that in the last 2 months, we have approved 2 new AP courses to add to our complete offerings. And this, in a way, is giving new students access to AP courses that they will hopefully then take the AP classes and hopefully get a 3 or better and help to affect our rankings. So, and I know this is a laborious sort of way to say this, but I think we need to recognize that in addition to these being a choice that many students want to have, it is also leaning into our strategic plan of offering more, of improving the quality of the education. So, sorry.
Thank you. Trustees, any other discussion? If not, all those in favor of Resolution 78, our 3 new courses, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I do just want to say before I walk away, thank you all for the kind words about the work. I do want to say it is the teachers and my team. So Sarah and Kendra are out there, Caitlin and Lindsay also contributed to this process. So I'm just deeply thankful to the educators and give all the credit to them.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Next, we will move into our business services reports. Mr. Chair,
Give it a second.
Thank you.
Okay. So in front of the board first, Resolution 79 is the renewal contract for food service management. We are recommending the board approve Chartwell's to continue their longstanding service with our district. The process for food service management renewal goes on a 5-year cycle where the state then makes us formally bid out to all vendors the opportunity to serve our district. And it's a very long and intensive process. There was a committee of us who organized to work through this. I believe in your board packet, there was a series, a scoring sheet. So we did ultimately end up receiving only 2 bids. And the scoring sheet was divided into 2 components, a financial component, which is based on a cost per meal per student, and then a non-financial component comprised of the items that we as a district felt were very important for our food service management vendor to be able to provide. So we're happy to say that Chartwell's was both the lowest cost per student, but also had the highest non-financial factors as well, which is why they are being approved or being recommended for approval to continue their work. Now, this contract is for 1 year, but it has 4 one-year optional renewals as sort of the total period of time that the contract could be in place for.
Thank you. Trustees, could I have a motion for Resolution 79, renewal contract for our food service management?
I move to advance Resolution 79, renewal contract for food service management.
Support.
I support with dessert.
Trustees, is there any discussion?
I just had a clarifying question. There was a statement in there that said something about no additional funding. So just for clarity, are we still offering the meals to students for free?
Yes, so that's currently a state program. To my best knowledge, that actually will continue again next year,
Okay, that's awesome.
I believe. You're giving me a look.
Maybe.
Maybe.
The governor would like it, but I guess it depends on the budget.
Of course.
Yes.
Trustees, anything else?
No, I just think that the service they provide the school for the past few years, how long have you been doing it? I'm sorry.
We've been here 10 years now.
10 years, I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure before I say so many years. So I want to be specific. 10 years, they haven't missed a beat, honestly.
No.
And they provide healthy options, great people, dedicated, hardworking. So that's what I might say. That's all.
Great people, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
This was discussed pretty extensively,
Yeah.
in the bond committee, so.
But I'm pretty disappointed we don't have any charcuterie board.
And or no samples for tonight.
So sorry.
No, just kidding.
No, thank you for being such great partners with us. We appreciate it. Trustees, if there's no other comments, all those in favor of Resolution 79, renewal of Chartwell's as our food service management company, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you, Chartwell's.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to invite Scott Smith from Plan Marine Real Point to join me up for the next couple resolutions, just in case there are additional comments. Resolution 80 is the Stormwater Management Operations and Maintenance Agreement. This is, was discussed in detail with the Bond Oversight Committee, but at a very high level. As we do our parking lot work at Groves High School over the course of the summer, Beverly Hills has adopted some new sort of county-wide ordinances, and as part of it, they are requiring the district to agree to certain stormwater management and operations procedures. Now, essentially what we're agreeing to is not much more than we already have to do as part of our stormwater management permit with the county. So this isn't really an additional burden to the district, but because it is in agreement with another municipality, the board does have to approve this.
Trustees, could I, go ahead.
I move that resolution number 80 move forward for the stormwater management operations and maintenance agreement for Groves High School.
Second.
Trustees, is there any discussion? As Kevin mentioned, the bond committee, which is Colleen, Lori, and I, talked about this at length, I think, for the past couple of our bond meetings. And Scott was present too, so we fully support.
Just curious, what's the is the water, can you just explain to the public, like a little bit of history about the water, the sewer, and the situation maybe, if they're not aware?
Add some color.
Yeah, so really this is the municipality is usually a part of any review of an improvement to their site. The Grove site's gone through numerous renovations over the years, and their policies and procedures have changed a little bit since we started construction, since we planned. So really what this boils down to is when you make a big change to a place, stormwater is a big concern for the village of Beverly Hills and pretty much anybody else these days. So this really is about the water that leaves the district site and ultimately discharges into the village's site, which then flows downhill into another site. So this is really just making sure they understand that we're properly handling the water, treating it, regulating the rate at which it leaves our site. And that's, they want this agreement in place to make sure that we continue to have those policies in place to ensure the quality and the rate at which water leaves the Grove site.
Thank you.
Trustees, are there any other questions regarding Resolution 80? All those in favor of supporting Resolution 80, Stormwater Management Operations and Maintenance Agreement for Groves High School, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Okay, next is Resolution 81. That's a change order for approval for a contract award to Eagle Excavation. So this, our prior resolution actually segues into this resolution where the adoption of these ordinances did end up changing our project scope for our parking lot improvements here at Groves. We bid this about a year or so ago, and at the time, we had to bid mostly because we needed to get this on schedule, we needed to get things ordered, and we had a fairly good understanding and communication with the Village of Beverly Hills what was expected. Now we fast forward a year, and they make final adoptions of their own ordinances, which did ultimately end up changing a bit of the project scope. Now, our bond oversight governance document does require that any change order over $100,000 is reviewed and approved by the board, so we did bring this to the bond oversight committee. We discussed it and the reason for it, and that is why it's being presented for approval tonight. I should also add, before any additional comments, that we maintain construction contingency on all of our bond projects just for such occasions. So this doesn't, at this time, require any change to our total project budget.
Trustees, could I have a motion for Resolution 81?
I move to advance Resolution 81, change order approval on contract award for Eagle Excavation.
Support.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Resolution 71, the change order for approval on contract award for Eagle Excavation, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you, Scott.
All right, next is Resolution 82, West Maple Playground Equipment with removal and installation. This resolution is being presented to the board to approve the purchase through a consortium, new playground equipment over at West Maple Elementary, specifically a 1-to-1 replacement of their under 5 playground structure and one of their other structures. This came about, and as a quick oversight of what we discussed more in detail again with the Bond Oversight Committee, was that as we were reviewing the budget for all of our overall bond projects, and because of some advantageous interest earnings, we were able to expand a little bit of our bond project scopes. We identified the West Maple Playground and those specific 2 pieces of equipment as being very much towards the ends of their lives, where repairs don't necessarily continue to maintain them at the level of safety that we would like them to be. Not that they're unsafe, but we want to put them in place just to prevent that from happening. So this, again, this recommendation in front of you is just to approve that purchase through the consortium, which is allowable under bond policy.
Okay, thank you. Trustees, could I have a motion for Resolution 82?
I move that we consider Resolution 82, purchase of West Maple playground equipment.
Support. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Resolution 82, West Maple playground equipment removal and installation, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Last one, Kevin.
Last one for me. Resolution 83 is award bid contract for purchase of buses. So back in December, you may remember that I was presenting on a very similar topic. We, as a district, are in the process of completely replacing our bus fleet with our own buses. We utilize the MSBO consortium for school bus purchasing. So back in December, we had some special needs buses that were approved, and the recommendation for the board tonight is to complete our 60 buses by purchasing 32 conventional style buses. So those are the long, normal style buses. What is going to be special about these ones is we are adding a convertible seat to the first 3 rows for child restraints for our 4-year-olds as we look to expand our preschool option, so that our buses are going to be equipped for that endeavor. The total purchase of this is being awarded to the lowest bidder of the program, and the board does have the bid sheet in front of them. So a total award purchase of just over $4.5 million to Hoekstra.
Trustees, could I have a motion for Resolution 83?
I move to consider Resolution 83, award bid contract for purchase of buses. Support.
Is there any discussion?
No, I just want to say this is one of my, I love this resolution. I love when we purchase the buses. It's a great move. And overall, we discussed this before in the financial, how it affects us financially as well. So it's, overall, we're actually going to benefit as the years go on. So kudos to everyone involved in this. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Joseph. Any other discussion?
I just have one question. I know you had mentioned that it's not always speedy to actually receive these buses.
This is
So
true.
do you have a timeline for when we'll actually be putting them to service?
Yes, so the first half of the bus purchase order should be delivered by the fourth calendar quarter of '24, which means shortly,
Okay.
by the end of this year.
Yeah.
But they probably will be maybe phased into service over the spring and most likely in the fall.
Okay.
And then the second half, the final quarter, calendar quarter of '25. So we should have our entire bus fleet available to us in the fall of 2025.
Got it.
25-26 school year.
And were any of them electric? Because we did a presentation on that.
So we did not choose to go forward with electric buses at this time. The cost to install, maintain, and operate those buses just isn't quite at the level that we're prepared for yet.
That's good. Trustees, any other comment? Seeing none, could we, all those in favor of approving Resolution 83, the awarding of the purchase of buses, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. Thank you, Kevin.
Great, thank you.
Next, I will turn it over to Zach for Resolution 84, the purchase approval for a firewall upgrade.
Madam President, members of the board, thank you for your consideration tonight. First, I'd like to thank Mike Terrell and the audience from Barton Mallow Technology Group, who assists on all of our technology projects throughout the bond. This is a bond purchase that was reviewed in detail by the bond committee. We released a RFP and received 4 bids, and After evaluating all those bids in detail, based on the technology and the implementation plan, we're pleased to recommend People-Driven Technology and the Fortinet firewall to secure our network moving forward. This is one of the highest rated pieces of firewalls on the market and will make us more secure for the foreseeable future. So the resolution is to award the contract for the firewall upgrade to People-Driven Technology for $443,916.46.
Trustees, do I have a motion for resolution 84?
I move that we consider Resolution 84, award contract for bid package T11 firewall upgrade.
I second that motion.
And I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So it says in the resolution, no, I'm sorry, it says in your letter to Dr. Roberson that this purchase is going to save the general fund more than $360,000 over 5 years. Can you just explain to me how that is?
Yes. So we have to pay a yearly licensing fee for our current firewall. You cannot pay those fees out of bond funds. However, you can buy a new firewall and pay for 5 years of licensing whenever you buy a new firewall. So we will eliminate that $60,000 a year bill for that. And then as well, this will replace our email content filtering system, like the spam filter built in. So I currently pay about $20,000 a year in service fee for that, but that'll be baked into this cost. So we're kind of moving those funds over to the bond, taking advantage of this physical hardware purchase to free up the general fund.
I like it. Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions or discussions for Zach? All those in favor of resolution 84, the purchase approval for our firewall upgrade, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries 6-0. Now we move to other, resolution 85, Oakland School Board of Education election.
Yeah. Okay.
Trustee Hokumer?
So fun. Okay, so we have, all the districts within Oakland County vote to elect our ISD board. And at this time, we have 4 candidates to run for 2 seats on the ISD board. And those candidates are Mark Katz, who is currently a trustee for the ISD, Carol Finkelstein, who is currently a West Bloomfield School Board trustee, Charlie Gandy Thompson, and Semino Scott. Most of you received emails from Mark Katz and Carol Finkelstein asking you for their vote. There was also a forum hosted by Oakland County School Board Association in which 3 of the candidates participated, Mark Katz, Carol Finkelstein, and Semino Scott. I did review all of these things. And while I think that the 3 who participated in the forum are all qualified, I think that Mark Katz and Carol Finkelstein have more directly related experience. So that would be my recommendation, but I am open to discussion from anyone else who spent some time considering these candidates.
I would agree on Mark and Carol just serving as a school board member for the past 5.5 years. They both have been very involved, very engaged, and I would definitely feel confident in supporting both of them.
What does Semino Scott represent, Pontiac School Board?
No, he actually is not a sitting school board member. He is involved in, I believe it's a nonprofit educational organization. I can't remember. He's a very educated man himself.
I used to work with him.
Oh, you did? He has a PhD. I should know because he did speak about cradle to career education. So, I truly, I thought he did a very good job at the forum, considering that he doesn't have a lot of direct experience. But, So, yes, he's not currently on a school board, and he did say this is the first time he sought any sort of elected office.
Trustees, for this resolution, we need to name a representative who will vote for us, an alternate, and then our two candidates. So I think before we have any more discussion, could we have a motion for Resolution 85?
I move that we consider Resolution 85 ISD election.
Support. Thank you.
And just so everyone knows, I am a canvasser for the election, which means I will be there, and therefore I'm happy to also be our representative and cast the vote, so, because I'm going to be there anyway.
Sounds like a volunteer to me.
Thank you. Is there anyone that would
If you insist.
like to be our alternate? I'm happy to serve in that role. If there's someone else that feels passionately about, I would happily give that up.
When would the date?
It's June 3rd.
What time? Do you know?
Hold on, I have to look at
Which
the.
is my birthday. What a great way to spend it.
Yeah.
So Nicole, you are voting no on that.
I believe as an alternate, you would have to be there by 5 o'clock because the election begins at 5:30. And it should be over within an hour and a half. However, in the case of a tie and there's a runoff, you have to stay later.
I don't want to be the alternate,
Perfect. Luke?
unless you want.
No? You, thank you for.
Just to do something different.
No, I appreciate you volunteering. So we have Amy as our representative, Luke as our alternative. Trustees, is there any other conversation or discussion regarding the two candidates that Amy and I have brought forward?
No,
I will just say that unfortunately, I haven't done enough research on the candidates. I know that Trustee Holcomer is extremely involved, and so I'm going to rely on her research that she's done. I am familiar with Carol Finkelstein, who has successfully served for a number of years. So I'm comfortable with that one, and I'm unfamiliar with the other one. So I'm going to defer to the recommendation of Trustee Holcomer.
all my comment was going to be is, even though I do agree with your two candidates, this is not a, but just to make a general comment, usually sometimes in the business world, when I interview someone, a lot of times experience does come into play, but a lot of times when I'm the candidate, I'm like, let's just give me a chance to come into your company and to prove to you that I can do it. But then they say, oh, based on this and that. My point is sometimes you don't know what the other people, my point is you don't know what the other people have to offer. Sometimes it's good, not necessarily, I'm not saying I would not support these two. I'm just trying to make a general point. Sometimes it's not a bad idea to give somebody a chance, because you don't know, maybe that new idea or fresh idea or they maybe have more energy. I don't know. I'm just saying you don't know. But like Trustee McKinney said, I mean, Amy has been very involved. She knows these people very well. I trust her completely. So.
Well, but to your point, Luke, what I will say, I didn't even, Semino Scott, and now I feel like I really should have done more due diligence because I do know him personally. He does have a PhD. He has worked in education. Is very involved in the Pontiac community that I know of. So I am sure he would be an asset to the board.
I watched the forum. I was actually really impressed with all three of them. I am going to vote for Mr. Katz and Ms. Finkelstein. Mr. Scott, though, I really hope that he keeps at this and starts just dipping his toes into other areas, because I don't think a lack of experience necessarily disqualifies you, but I just felt like I wasn't quite comfortable supporting him yet. He seemed really impressive. So if he gets involved in a couple more things over the next couple of years, I could see wanting to get him on this.
I think some people are making suggestions to him.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, I was very impressed with his resume. So, and definitely cradle to career, I was like, oh my God, where have I heard that before?
Any other comments? Okay, all those in favor of Amy as our representative, Luke as our alternate, Carol Finkelstein and Mark Katz, for Resolution 85 Oakland Schools Board of Education election, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0. And Amy has graciously volunteered to talk about Resolution 86, the ISD general budget.
We, again, talked about this very briefly at our last study session. Every year, each district is asked to approve the ISD's general fund budget, which covers salaries and the majority of their budget. So in the past, we've nitpicked some stuff. I did not see anything in this budget that bothered me. They have a standard 2% increase for salaries, so that seemed reasonable. They are definitely supporting areas that we as local educational associations will benefit from, namely social, emotional well-being, and mental health. Some renovations to the technical campuses, which, some of us did have an opportunity to see the Northeast one in Pontiac this year, and it's amazing. They're doing a business office residency program, which you can speak to a little bit more, but it's very important for local districts.
They're actually doing a business one and now an HR one as well.
Yes.
Which is just because it is hard to find people who are in the business field or in human resources in the school environment. They are kind of doing a grow your own program where they are paying for someone to basically intern for 2 years. And they would be paired up with a business official to help with the mentoring process for those 2 years, to assist them so that after 2 years, then you have someone who's available and able, hopefully, to take over in another school district as a business official. The HR one is a little bit different, but it's still the same similar concept where they are preparing people who are interested in the HR field in schools to be able to take over after 2 years.
So those are obviously very needed for our local districts. And then, they'll continue to support the shared services, literacy essentials, a math initiative called, it's a numeracy initiative, and that is to increase 3rd grade through 6th grade MSTEP scores. So, there's nothing in here that isn't beneficial to all of our local districts. So I would fully support approving their resolution.
I move for the I move for the support of Resolution 86, the ISD general budget.
Second.
Is there any other discussion, trustees? Seeing none, all those in favor of Resolution 86, the ISD, approving the ISD general budget, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0. Thank you, Trustee Hildemer, for taking both of those.
You are welcome.
Do we have any announcements before we conclude?
No, just to echo earlier, Dr. Roberson wishing congratulations to class of 2024. We wish them success in their future, whatever grade they're finishing. Well, specifically the seniors, but any change of any of the, from elementary to middle, from middle to high, and obviously from high school to college, we wish them the best. That's all.
Thank you, Trustee Joseph. Anything else?
think IA's graduation ceremony is
June
Sunday the
2nd?
2nd.
Yes.
So
Yep,
before
June
we meet
2nd.
again. So congratulations to the IA seniors.
Yes, and this Thursday is the last day for seniors to attend school at Groves. Thursday is the last day for seniors. So yeah, congratulations to the seniors.
Yes.
Well, that's what they do.
You're right.
Yes, congratulations, class of 2024. All right, if we have nothing else, meeting adjourned at 8:55.
Thank you.
Thank you. My phone.